Hey everyone, it's Alyssa. Today I'm going to be showing you guys some tips for your virtual cheer tryouts. I mentioned making this in my last video and you guys actually were really excited to see it. So I made sure to get it out as fast as I can so all of you guys who have tryouts coming up have a chance to see this video. And video tryouts can honestly be really stressful for a lot of us just because a lot of people aren't familiar with not only editing and how to put a video together, but what exactly people are looking for. Because usually how it goes is people only do virtual tryouts if they live in a different state and they absolutely cannot come to the school for the tryouts. So it's a common thing to have video tryouts, but normally people do it in person. So as I said in my last video, I have tried out with a video tryout before for my first college cheer team and I made the team. I'm just gonna put this disclaimer in here first. Every school is different and they each have their own set of rules. So a lot of my tips are based off of what I did for my video and what that coach specifically liked, and just some tips that I think that I would like to see if I was a coach. Remember to adhere to whatever your school wants you to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to give you guys my tips, and then at the end I'm going to give you guys a little tutorial on how I edit videos with iMovie. And if you don't have iMovie and if you have a Windows computer, I used to use Windows Live Movie Maker. I'm not gonna make the tutorial super in detail just because I'm sure looking up a YouTube video on how to use them will be a lot more helpful than what I can say. So I know it can sound scary, you have to create your own video. Like, it's kind of overwhelming, it can be. So first and foremost, you need to look at your cheer team's page that you're trying out for and look at the video cheer tryout section and really read the instructions. I mean, like, everything. You might like make them kind of mad if you don't do something correctly, or if you forget to put a certain section in, like if you forget that they ask you to do a cheer and you don't do the cheer, or if you don't read that they want you to do a double toe touch. That's just, you know, not as good. So make sure you carefully read the website. They should have a website or some sort of plan for you guys to follow. For my school, I know if you type in UCSD cheerleading tryouts, it brings you to a page where it shows you step-by-step instructions of what they're asking for, what they want you to include, and all that stuff. So first things first, look at that and write everything down that you need to do because you want to make sure that you don't want to miss anything. And I personally, in my cheer tryout video, I put in an introduction just because I want the judges to get to know me and I want the coach to kind of get a feel for who I am. And even though I'm not trying out in person, I still wanted to have that, hi, my name's Alyssa, I'm 20 years old and I blah 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 blah. Again, based off of your template, it may ask you to include an introduction or maybe not. The thing about video tryouts is that I don't think we should stress so much about it being the most perfectly structured thing in the world. As long as you have all of the components that they're asking for on the website in your video, then you should be fine because they're not judging your editing skills. They're not judging what kind of music you use in the background. They're not judging how well you cut something up or how you place something where they're not judging that at all. They're literally just observing and scoring you based off of the skills that you throw. So take a deep breath and don't worry because how you kind of put your video together shouldn't really matter that much. And as long as you're doing everything that they ask you to, then you're good. So for my introduction, I introduced myself very charismatic, very happy, very energetic, and said my name, where I'm from, how old I was, what school I was coming from, and what team I was trying out for. Let me tell you one of my biggest tips for video tryouts. Just because you are talking to a camera, just because you are tumbling in front of nobody, doesn't mean that you should have low energy, not smile, and not try to be friendly and like impress the judges. If you are filming anything extra for your video, then you should really act like you're at cheer tryouts. They want to see that because they won't know anything about you through a video tryout. So make sure that you're still smiling, you're still going full out. Like when you do the cheer section of your video tryout, go full out. Don't think that just because you're in front of one person helping you, recording you with a camera, that does not mean that you can just chill. Act like you are performing in front of the judges. So that being said, do make sure to carefully adhere to the template. Like I said, if you miss something, then that could be a major deduction to your score. So I guess from my experience, what I have had to do for video tryouts, again, yours is totally different than mine, but they all kind of have a similar basis. I had to do jumps, tumbling, standing tumbling, a cheer, dance, and stunting. I don't know if I said that already. And also they wanted to see all of my awards, accomplishments, and titles I received, and references. And they should let you know if they want that in the video or if they want that in an email or something. If there's gonna be a lot of your video, I'm assuming that's probably gonna be old footage. Like if you're stunting, first of all, we're social distancing, so you shouldn't be stunting with anybody. You're probably gonna be using old videos of stunts. For me personally, I newly recorded everything except for stunting because stunting was the only thing that I couldn't put together. So just like a normal tryout, I personally dressed in all black with a bow with game day ready makeup, just as I was going to cheer tryouts if it was in person. Okay, another tip I'm gonna get into is if you are filming new tumbling or new jump video shots, remember that you have an advantage here. If you try out in person, if you mess up or if you do something wacky, then that's it. That's what they judge you with. But if you are filming a video, you can do however many shots to make it perfect. So if you're not squeezing tight enough and you're tumbling, you could always film it again. Like never settle for the first shot. Like keep going until it looks the absolute best. But that brings me into another point. Do not include anything in your video that you will not be performing during the season. And this is extremely important because it can be really tempting to put in a clip of you doing a skill that you had last year but you lost. Like if you have this video of you doing a layout, don't put that in if you don't have the layout anymore. The problem there is that the coach is gonna expect you to throw what you had in the video, nothing less. They will not expect any less than what you put in that video. All I know is that my coach always stresses that whatever you try out with, she expects nothing less. So if you do want to do that and kind of gamble, then you need to really be working on it for the rest of the summer if you make the team so you can throw that skill during season. Just to like summarize that, just make sure that whatever you're including in your video is something that you will have by season. And if your video tryouts aren't due until like months later or weeks later than now, still start now. Start training, start practicing, because you want to make sure that it's the absolute best. You might be thinking like, oh, it's just a video, I can film that the day before and it will be fine. You can if you want to, but I'm just trying to like give you guys tips on how to make your video the best possible. That being said, I suggest that you start training now, practicing now, and maybe even start doing some takes now. Because what if you're editing your video the day before and you're like, oh, well, my tumbling doesn't look as good as I think it could be, but you don't have time to refilm it again. It's just easier if you start earlier. Just in general, do not procrastinate this to the day or even 2 days before. Do not underestimate the power of learning the dance and the cheer. For almost all tryouts, I'm pretty sure, they have you either learn the fight song, learn a dance, or learn a really popular cheer for that school. If you're really good at picking things up, then like, I guess you go ahead and wait till the last minute. But I think that you can easily be shocked by how hard it is to memorize and perfect a dance, a fight song, and a cheer. Start learning now. Maybe you don't have to start filming now, but start learning now because it's a lot easier on yourself. Just drill it in your head now, the dance and the cheer. And when you're doing that dance and that cheer, make sure that you're performing it just as full out as you would at in-person tryouts. You want to show that you belong on the team and that you're hyping up a crowd, even though you're literally just standing in front of a video camera. Also, another tip, is quality is always better, but it's not necessary. Don't freak out if you don't have a fancy camera to record yourself, because like I said before, they are solely looking at what you are displaying. They are grading you based off of what you're showing in the video. So if you have a nice camera, I would put in the effort to use it. If you have a nice camera, why not use it? But don't stress if you only have your iPhone or whatever you're using, because it's not that big of a deal at all. Like, you'll totally be fine. And don't overthink the video, because remember, everyone is doing it this way. We're all forced to be doing this way, and a lot of us have no idea or structure going into it. So honestly, every video that they get is gonna look different. Remember that. The way they edit it or the way they put it together. But as long as you're following what they ask for and demonstrating it in the best way, then you're totally fine. So don't stress out too much about that. Be really tight, be really sharp, just be really clean. As a previous judge who has watched a cheerleading tryout video before, things that will really stick out are you being crisp and clean and being energetic and having good attitude. We just like want to see you like pump up the crowd. That's like back to my other point about don't be intimidated or nervous to go full out just because there's nobody in front of you. Like, still go full out. They want to see what you will look like at a game. Okay, so those are all the tips I have. So now I'm going to get into showing you guys how I made my cheerleading tryout video with iMovie. And like I said, go ahead and like look up a tutorial, or if you don't have iMovie, then use like whatever movie maker you have on your laptop. And there's also a lot on the App Store. And there's literally tons of YouTube videos that show you how to make everything. All right, so we're gonna switch over to my laptop. My desk setup is exposed. Here's my laptop. We got my Greek letters, Alpha Phi, and a flying Koopa because I love Mario. Here we go. Also, just note, this is extremely informal. I highly recommend you just look up on the internet how to do this. Okay guys, I just thought I'd show you this just as an example. This is the page with the cheer tryout information from my school. So it says all the dates, when it's due, and then it says when our interviews are. Because it's college cheer, we do have video interviews. And then it says when decisions are announced and all that stuff. And here it says the positions, tryout attire, and evaluation. Look for this page because this page is going to be key. I'm gonna click on this video submissions page, and here we go. Literally, this is everything you need right here. Remember to register, because usually when you have a video tryout, you need to register online with some forms. You still need registration forms. You don't just send the video. So for mine, I do have an introduction. So name, age, grade, why do you want to be a cheerleader, and then it has all of what they ask for. Then it talks about interviews. Then it talks about, you know, the other important stuff. So I just wanted to show you guys that, even though you're not at my school. I just wanted to show you guys that just as an example of what you should be looking at and where to find this information. Hi, you can see me in the background. So I'm at iMovie right now, and I'm just gonna press create new, a movie. So if you wanna put like a title in, I just go into title and then select whichever kind you want. I'm just gonna click this one. This one's just a basic title, and then drag it. Then you can type in whatever you want. So I'm gonna do cheer tryouts 2020. And this is just an example of like a basic one that I might do, just to like give you guys an idea. So I obviously don't have my tryout footage yet because I haven't started. And I'm just gonna be pulling random footage, pretending that it's the tumbling or whatever. Okay, so cheerleading tryouts. I'm going to pretend that this one is my introduction right here. But it's not, but let's pretend that's introduction. So after the introduction, I'll just drag another one, and I'm gonna put running tumbling. Because based off of my template, like I showed you, they want running tumbling, standing tumbling, cheer, dance, stunting. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna pretend this is my footage of me tumbling, even though it's not. And then just kind of do the same thing for the rest. We're gonna drag another title, and then do standing tumbling. And if you need to import it, what I do is I just go off of my Finder, put it on your computer and save it to downloads, and then you can just drag it right on there. So you kind of get the gist of how to construct like a basic one. And to do more detailed things like cutting and trimming your video, I would just suggest looking up an iMovie tutorial or tutorial for whatever software you're using. But I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm just going to show you guys how to add music in the background just in case you want to and they allow it. So all I did was switch to audio, and then on iTunes it should show all of your iTunes music if you have that, and just take it, click it, drag it.
What I would do is take away this fear of being loved, allegiance to the pain. I would give anything to change this fickle-minded heart.
And the save button is just up right there in this corner. Save to file. Or YouTube if they want you to post it to YouTube. So I hope that gives you guys a general idea of how to create your virtual cheer tryout video. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope I contributed in some way and brought you guys more at ease on how to do this. Also, side note, look on YouTube and look at other people's cheerleading tryout videos just to get some inspiration. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone!